Hello, Dan.
Hey, Dan. This is just Andrew and Kurt. And we got together to make a video to wish you a happy birthday on your 40th birthday and to remember a couple of your best qualities.
Talk about a few memories.
Yes, some memories.
Walk down memory lane.
That's right. Walk with us, if you will. If you will.
I think you have no choice.
The two characteristics that we had thought of that we wanted to talk about were courage and persistence. So, Andrew, why don't you give us the courage story?
All right. So, not so much a story, but just kind of how things worked when we were teenagers is we were skateboarders, and that was pretty much our life. And Dan, you were always the first to do things that I was pretty sure were going to kill all of us. For instance, dropping in on a 10-foot half pipe, or when we built the big launch ramp. I don't know, I was probably 11 years old, but in my mind, this thing was like 4 feet tall. So.
It was probably half as tall as you were.
Yeah. So we built this thing, and they're like, yeah, awesome. And then we drag it out into the street, and I look at it, and I'm like, oh, I'm pretty sure I'm going to die if I go off. But Dan just runs up to the top of the street with his flipped up hat.
Yeah.
Comes charging down the hill. Early grab, launches off, lands, everything's good. So I learned a lot of things were possible just by watching you. So
because we couldn't let you show us up, so then we had to try it after you did it and showed that it could be done.
Yeah. So
and one of the other qualities we wanted to talk about was persistence. That you have always been very persistent, and we saw that in video games. You remember you winning Zelda before any of us. That was back before video games.
Marathon Zelda sessions.
Yes, sessions. Yeah. When you couldn't save your progress, so you'd have to play like 8 hours in a row to finally get to the end. And you were the first one to accomplish it, as I remember, because you're persistent.
I never did.
I did, but I was sick that day. I think stayed home. Anyway, and then another story that we had about your persistence was the story of when you won the Honda Spree moped. There was a contest at South Roads Mall.
It was a scooter.
It was a scooter, yes.
It wasn't a lowly moped.
It was
a cherry red
Honda
Spree scooter.
Yes.
There were no pedals.
Probably 49 cc's. Very, very large motor. The equivalent of a Harley Davidson, if you're 14 years old anyway. And so Dan wanted to win this very badly, so he went down to the mall, and there were these little stations where you could sign up, and they had these pads of the slips that you'd fill out with your name and your address. And so Dan got bunches of those pads and brought them home and filled each individual slip out, not with his own name, but with our dad's name, because Dan was too young to win the moped. So Dan fills out all of these slips with Herb McClanahan and our address. Yes,
if I recall, it was like 600 or 700.
Stacks and stacks of these things, and then takes them back to the mall and puts those slips in the bins. And so after a couple months, they call my dad one day, and they're like, "Herb McClanahan, you've won a Honda Spree." And my dad's like, "What's a Honda Spree? How did I win a Honda Spree?" And sure enough, Dan had won the Honda Spree, so we brought that home, and Dan proceeded to go out and ride it in contravention of Nebraska state law, which is fantastic.
Show more of his courage.
Yes, back to the courage. Back to the courage. But again, Dan was always very persistent and courageous, and something that pushed us on to greater accomplishments ourselves. So all that just say that we wish Dan a happy birthday on his 40th, and have a good day.
Yeah, love you, brother.
Yeah, love you.